Welcome to the When We Cry book. Fuck.
Yeah,
oh my god. I still don't got it.
It's the first Lorenzo fuck up in so long.
In the year 2022, baby. Hello. Welcome to the When We Cry Book Club podcast. It's been over a year since the last time. No, not over a year.
New year, new Lorenzo? Like, what is this?
It's been over like a month or so. I'm just vibing.
Woo.
It's been so long since I last talked to you guys. Okay, let me try to do it properly this time. You can keep this in, but
I will.
We'll see how it goes. Okay, welcome to the When We Cry book. It's like I have a speech impediment. I swear. Like, no lie. Every time I talk to people in real life, I'm sure they're like, "What's wrong with him?"
Let's go, Lorenzo.
Okay.
I believe in you.
All right. Welcome to the When We Cry. Welcome to the What's wrong with my mouth? Okay. Welcome to the When We Cry Book Club podcast, where we will be discussing Umineko's 4th episode and also watching to see how many times it takes for me to say that sentence properly. Okay, this is the 3rd part of the 4th episode discussion, and Angie is currently having a magical sleepover with her demon stakes.
Yo.
Isn't that cool?
Very cool.
But first, we need to do some catching up. It's been over, I think, 2 months, actually.
No, it's been over a month.
Okay.
We haven't reached 2 months yet. Again.
Okay, a month.
We have at a point.
Wait, when was the last time we recorded book club? I know I recorded like other things with Des, but I don't think I have talked to Lorenzo.
Nope, not me. I've been a hermit. I've been gaming. That's all.
So just so you have an idea of the absolute state of the book club, this is the 5th episode we're recording in half a year.
Yes.
Like, we recorded an episode in July, then we recorded in August, then November, then December, and now it's January. Like, we've been recording this shit like an episode per month, basically. Like, and we intend to finish this? How?
I think we can do it. We're at a good pace. Like,
yes.
you need some time to marinate between episodes.
Well, Des, I just want this to be really slow and steady so we can. Holy shit! Sorry, my ferrets are fighting right now, and somehow somehow my recording is just picking up this whole fight that they're doing.
Ferret Fight Club. It's okay. I think my recording's also picking up like the heater. just.
And anyway, I'm gonna try cleaning it out before I send it back to Des. But point of the story is, I think we're going slow and steady, and I also, because I've been watching a lot of random Umineko video essays that pops up on my recommendation, and even though I'm really mad, I watch every one of them because it's just content for me, and I feel like somehow video essays just get like 1K view easy, and I'm like, why can't we get 1K views? Sad.
I believe in us.
Well, actually, I'm very surprised with the current state of the channel. Like, when we got to 200 subscribers, I thought we had peaked. I didn't think there was any more audience for us, and here we are at 320.
You thought like we had plateaued? Aww. Like that's the only possible amount of people we can possibly get?
Yeah, like who the fuck's listening to an Umineko podcast, you know? Apparently 300 people are.
Yeah, I guess so. That's something to be happy about.
Wait, I don't think we've said our names yet. I'm Des, hello.
Oh shit, yeah, sorry. I'm your host, Lorenzo, kind of. Well, we're all hosts, aren't we?
Sure.
Quite philosophical.
Yeah, and this is your friendly neighborhood mushroom. And I guess, yeah, let's talk about random ass shit.
Yeah, let's do it. We have to catch up. I've missed talking to you guys. Honestly, I've just been so busy with IRL life. Mostly games, but mostly IRL life. How have you been? Like, what's going on? What have you been doing when you haven't been in my sights for over a month?
Well, I've been telling everyone what I've been doing in the Ciconia episodes, so I don't want to bore people with that again. So instead, I'm gonna tell you what I have done this week, which is basically all that I've been doing this week because it's taken over my life. So I got back into playing Genshin Impact.
Oh no,
yes. And goddamn, I haven't been doing anything else. But like, fuck, why must this stupid gacha game have such good lore? Like, goddamn, the lore is so good.
You know it also has good lore? Arcane.
Yes.
So you could play that.
Okay, so
Good transition.
so before our podcast started, we started talking about Arcane, which is what I have watched over the past week. So what ended up happening to me in Arcane is that Dubs, which I have mentioned multiple times in this podcast, who's also a friend of mine in RL, told me, "Oh, I'm gonna watch Arcane today." And then my immediate thought was, no, you're not going to watch Arcane today. I'm going to go watch Arcane today. So I sat in front of a television and just watched 8 hours of Arcane, like straight through. And I was like,
Oof.
wow, that was so fucking good. And then Dubs just finished Arcane, like, yes, last night.
Mhm.
And I was like, ooh, I feel so good about that.
You felt good about what? About finishing it before him?
Yes, and also finishing the show.
It's a race now?
It's a race. Yeah, and you've already lost, Des.
No!
The point is, Des, before the show started, we were trying to convince Des to watch Arcane, but, like, I honestly think Arcane is really well done. Like, I am not a person who likes or know or like anything about League of Legends, but Arcane is really well done, and it's really good, and the animation is so fluid, and, like, the lighting is beautiful. The only bad thing is just the kind of cringy music.
I was going to say the only bad thing was it almost made me want to play League again. Go off.
Oh, that's actually really bad then, I guess.
So 2 bad things.
Okay, which one is the worst addiction, Genshin or League of Legends?
League of Legends.
Vote in the comments.
Gaming in general.
But yeah, so Des, you have to watch it. It's really good, and then you're gonna finish watching it, and you're gonna be like, "Why did nobody tell me to watch it until now?" I promise. I watched the whole thing, and I was like, "Damn, this is so fucking good."
I will consider.
Yeah, once it's done, you don't have to worry about it. Let's say that.
Wow.
Like this, it's the weekend, so you can probably
The
just
Weeknd,
binge
yo.
it by. Yeah, he just
Shut
dropped
up.
an album this week. Haha, good for him.
Obligatory
Did you
joke.
know that the Weekends are? Did you know that the Weekend is Canadian and not American?
Yeah. Wait, you mean like the artist?
Yeah, the group.
What?
Yes.
What would she mean otherwise?
Okay, like no, I mean the weekend we all celebrate. Is it like a Canadian holiday every week?
Americans in the weekends working.
Okay, cool. I feel like he was born elsewhere, but yes, I think I know he's not from the States, which is good because we suck. The end.
Okay, so what else do we wanted to talk about?
I was just gonna brag about all the gaming I've been doing.
As always, as you do.
All I've been doing in the past like 2 months, I finished. What did I finish? Well, if I already mentioned, I already finished Great Ace Attorney. It was amazing.
Oh.
I finished Famicom Detective Club. I finished Shin Megami Tensei Nocturne. It was also amazing. I hate RPGs, but it was cool. Despite being a game from like pre-2010, it is designed very well. I like played an older SMT game as well, like Soul Hackers, which is like which got ported to the 3DS, but like it's definitely an older RPG. It feels like it, but it plays super well, especially if you already know how SMT games work. But anyways,
Well, SMT games are basically just Pokemon games, so like
Pokemon mixed with a personality test. Honestly,
oh my god.
So-
Speaking about personality tests, I'm gonna steal this moment, a little moment from you, but so Ambi and I replayed. So I replayed, but Ambi for the first time played Disco Elysium,
okay.
and Disco Elysium was so good that in the very end, that I told Ambi, I was like, you know, people call this game the most extensive 40-hour like personality test, and he was like, I could see that. It's Disco Elysium is so good. Please go play. Okay, I sunk more and more deeper into Disco Elysium hole like throughout the past like month, and like especially when Ambi is playing it, it makes my love for the game deepen, like to the point that I could honestly do a Disco Elysium podcast series.
Yeah, this is like the third time you brought up Disco Elysium in an episode.
It's so fucking good.
Yes, I was there for the first time, I think, but I want to play it.
It's so good. It is so good. I can't even begin to explain how amazing it is. It's the kind of like writing of like Umineko where you're just like, there deserves to be like so many other things written in this world, kind of.
Okay. Wow, that's like one of those it cultures inspiration. It's a very inspirational piece, you'd say.
It's very, very good. Anyway, sorry. Keep going on your long conversation about how many other games you've played.
Well, I also want to play Disco Elysium. I was thinking about all the games on my backlog that I just like have had for over a year, and I'm like, that's one of them. And then I started Astral Chain.
Oh yeah,
pretty good. Yeah, did you guys already play it?
Yes.
No. Did you like Astral Chain?
I kind of underwhelming, to be honest.
Underwhelming. Oh, okay. Well, I like the gameplay so far.
I like it too. I just was expecting a bit more from the game.
Oh, that's what I've heard. But somehow my brother sunk 80 hours into, like, you know, getting the sexy bikini suits. So, I mean, it must be worth it in some capacity, right?
I think the best part of Astral Chain are the designs. The designs are so fucking ballin'.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Is it, is Astral Chain, it's like a hack and slash, is it?
It's a platinum game. So, it's like Bayonetta, Devil May Cry.
Okay. So, it's like a stylish, what is that called?
Yes, but you're controlling two characters at the same time.
Yes.
Oh, fun.
But it's nice. It works nicely.
Yes, it's like Wonderful 101, except 2 people instead of 100. Like the gameplay system revolves around you moving around, but also controlling the game like a twin stick shooter, kind of.
Cute.
Yeah.
What?
You said ew, disgusting. I hate that.
I didn't understand if that was a positive or a negative reaction, to be honest.
I said cute, not said ew.
Oh. Yeah, so I like it so far. I'm not that far into it, but I've also been IRL gaming on board games this time. Last time I said it was pinball. Still into pinball, but like board games? Umineko moment, am I right?
Pachinko, Umineko, Pachinko.
We'll get to the point where Lorenzo has just evolved to the past where he's just playing a professional sport as a game now.
Oh no! Oh hell no! No! What the hell? Who do you think I am? I hate sports. I can't play sports. Sports are boring. Not really, but like I don't. It's not my cup of tea. It doesn't really raspberries. You know what I'm saying?
Lorenzo,
I don't.
The extent of the expressions, like it baffles me every time. Like, what
the concerning amount of 1920 slang that you want to introduce into this podcast is very uncomfortable.
Did I already say yuck my yum?
Yes,
yuck my yum.
Yes.
Okay, cool. I don't know. I pick it up from some like friends or TV, and I'm like, that was disgusting. I'm going to keep using it from now on. And like every time I use it, everybody else wants to use it too. It's kind of like it is a meme.
Actually,
in real life.
Recently I did a survey around my friends and said like, what is something that you used to say ironically and now you just say it unironically and you hate yourself for it? And everybody says things like, it's a lot of Twitch lingo, like saying like poggers or poggies. Or like, I have a really good friend, and his whole thing is that he could say the word cringe, but in really ridiculous ways. So like every time he sees me, he's like, "Wow, cringe gay," and I'm like, I honestly want to slam your head onto the pavement right now.
Krianji?
Yeah,
Krianji? Yo.
Making up new slang? That's linguistics for you, baby.
Yeah.
Yo.
And the other thing that happened to me is that one of the first times I met one of my roommates, and we were like eating lunch with a mutual friend, and in the middle of the conversation, I decided to sarcastically use the word, wow, 9 out of 11 would do it again, in a really like monotone scenario, because the reason I said that is because I saw a YouTube comment with that thing before, and I remember reading it being like, wow, that's the worst thing that somebody can possibly write on the internet, but also being like, it's kind of funny. And so the only time I used it in real life, it was in the scenario where it was like one of the first time me meeting my roommate, and then I like could see the confused horror in their eyes, and I was like, oh no, they'll never want to talk to me ever again.
Damn.
Huge fan. We got to come up with more memes and lingo. I got to say, I think I already mentioned it, but my brother's kind of weird. He basically makes his own memes, but he doesn't have Tourette's, I don't think, but he'll like say the same phrase over and over again. So like when I first moved back, it was barking and meowing like a dog and cat respectively. And then Do you guys remember the honeycomb cereal commercials where like these kids eat the honeycomb cereal and then they turn into like a little gremlin and they say, "Me want honeycomb." He'd say that over and over again to the point where even my dad like caught on. He was like, "Ha, he wants honeycomb." And like they all kept buying the honeycomb cereal. So he's an influencer in his own respect. And now it's Among Us.
Oh,
Keep
no.
saying Among Us still.
Your brother sounds very funny. I'd love to meet him.
Your brother does sound really funny.
He's a very guy. He's also the one I tried to get to play Umineko. I got it for him last year, and he was installing the 07th mod, and he was looking at the sprites, and you know how like the pachinko sprites have like egregiously large breasts?
Yes.
He's like, "Can I play with the dopey looking original sprites but have the boobs of these sprites on them?" And he hasn't gotten past episode 1, so props to him for that. Props to my other friend though for completing episode 2 after almost a year. Like he's chugging through.
Wow.
So
Book club pace.
Basically.
anyways,
This is the 20th book club episode. Congratulations.
yeah.
Whoa.
We made it. We're almost legally allowed to drink.
Yeah, in America, we
In
will be
America.
legally. Yeah, exactly. I say we will be legally be able to drink when we're like at episode 13 if we're in Germany or something.
They
Well,
let 13-year-olds drink?
I don't think so. I would be very surprised.
We will just have to ask Salome about that.
Well, anyway, we do have a request from a viewer.
Oh, wow.
I will post it in Book Club. Pakidin basically asked us to say these 3 iconic phrases from Umineko. So, do you guys want to do it?
Oh, my God.
Do we say it together or what are we doing with this?
I want to read the whole comment for listeners' context.
Oh,
It
okay.
says, "Thank you." Oh, Pocky Dean, hopefully I'm saying that right, says, "Thank you all. I really love this combination, as I've heard some of your past discussions. Des and Mushroom, you guys are good at Japanese pronunciations, which I am from Japan, and I think you two pronounce Japanese words well. So next time, I want you all to try to say Beatrice's line, lol, and then we'll all take turns saying that."
Packy, I wanted to tell you this very funny thing. So, I am Chinese, which means I actually read hiragana and kanji way better than I am at like reading romaji because it's just like really bad for my stupid brain because it just looks like fucking letters to me. So like it's actually better for tone indication. So I will try. So who wants to go first, I guess?
Oh, okay. I guess it could be me.
Yeah.
So, Beata's line. さあさあ、思い出してください。あなたがどんな姿をしていたのか?
Wow, that's whoa. I feel like it's just because I honestly speaking at this point, it's just because Des had really like carved this line into his brain.
Yes, matter of fact, I had already memorized this line before they commented.
Yeah, didn't we
Damn,
had
alright.
a whole episode? This was the episode where we first introduced Virgilia, right?
Yes.
Where we couldn't stop you from keep saying it every single time.
Yes, indeed. So who wants to go next?
Let's see. I can't read.
Me either.
Like, as in, like, if this line was in hiragana, I would have a better time reading this than I will be having it now.
Just use your American brain instead of the Chinese brain.
Wait, I wonder if you could probably just like look up the line. Like, it's probably a quotable quote, and you could find the hiragana pretty easily, right?
Do you want to try it while Mushroom does that?
Oh my god. No, well, Pocky Dean did not specify my name for a specific
No,
reason.
no, Lorenzo, you're not getting away from this.
Oh, damn it. Okay, well, first of all, I want to say I'm very flattered that a listener from Japan is listening to all our bullshit and fuckery. You're learning a lot of new words, I hope, from listening to us.
Words like yuck your yum, yuck
Yes.
your yum.
Yes, yuck your yum. I mean, I want to know. Okay, well, Paki-san, if you are listening, I want you to tell us more. Some Japanese figures of speech. I want to add some to my lexicon, preferably bad words.
Ooh.
I'm into that. I know like kuso can be used for different contexts, but basically I'm beating around the bush so I don't have to say this out loud.
Okay. Lorenzo.
Pray for me that my family does not walk in on me saying Japanese out loud. But even though, okay, fun fact, beating around the bush some more. So our dog's name is Doug, and my siblings have been getting really into anime recently. So they've been calling him Dougie-chan instead, and he now responds to Dougie-chan. So I'm very proud of him for learning Japanese.
Starving.
Shout out to my dog. Okay, fine. All right.
Shout out to you.
さあさあ、思い出してごらんなさい。あなたがどんな姿をしてたのか。Oh my god. You know what? I feel like I'd also benefit from reading like the hiragana or any kana, because I am also a degenerate who plays a lot of rhythm games, so I had to get used to reading kana.
Wow.
You really? That's actually funny because everybody I know who plays lots of rhythm games, they're like, I just know what song this is. Even though I don't know what it says in Japanese, I know what song this is.
Yo, pattern recognition brain.
Yeah, honestly, well, that's what language is, right? Well, when
True.
you play sound voltex, you have to kind of like, the sorting system used to be so bad that you literally had to know kana to like find the song in like the 30 seconds you're allotted. So I actually I learned some from fucking sound voltex. I hate you, Konami.
Wow.
Damn.
It's really interesting. Anyway, we need to hurry up. We're like half an hour in.
Oh yeah, sorry.
Okay, sorry. I'll read it. I'll read it.
Mush, come on.
さあさあ、思い出してくだなさい。あなたはどんな姿はしてたのか? Like, I don't know. It's just...
Mushroom Beato.
I can't do it. Like, I can't do it
Sugoi.
like how, like, not Battler. I can't do it how Des does it, which is like, さあさあ、思い出してください。あなたはどんな姿をしてたのか?
Yeah, we got Mr. Theater Kid over
Yeah,
here.
exactly.
Come on.
Of course, I will have to take the spotlight.
Or what's just the other one? It says...
Next one is Rosas, right? What she says to Maria.
The last one is Ava's.
Yeah.
I like that one.
Beato. Okay, let's go.
死んじゃえば? Let's say something. へそくせ.
Mushroom, you go first now.
Oh my god. It's I don't know is this the sono ohoho? Like, what is that line from?
It's when Rosa is slapping the shit out of Maria.
Oh, hell yeah. That's my line.
Okay, never mind.
Okay.
Lorenzo goes first.
It's like, Sono, oh, you know, Yamanasai.
Oh my god. I can't believe we're just fucking around. There's just so much fucking recording.
This is what happens when we cultivate a community. Isn't that magical, guys?
Wow.
Isn't that filled with so much maho, as they call it?
Oh, Hesodem, is it like Hesodam deme? Is it demo? Hesodemo? That's okay. If I look at Romaji, I actually don't know what I'm reading.
Very fair. No, because like the way English is written out, like it fucks with your brain. It's not an easy language, so I'm grateful that Paki's listening to us. Arigato gozaimasu, Paki-san.
So like, because you say like heso demo kande shinjaeba, like that's how you would say it, but like weird shit.
We got to bring out our inner theater kid, guys. Say it like you're telling somebody to like eat their ass and kill themselves.
Which one of them? That works both for Rosa Swine and for Eva Swine. Like, which one are you referring to?
The Ava's line.
Hisodemo kande shinjaeba.
Wow. Honestly
That sounds
speaking,
sinister.
See, this is what I mean. Des is so much better at like doing that than I can possibly be. I can't.
You just have to free yourself from the shackles of cringe, Mushroom.
He's telling you to kin. You have to kin so hard right now. Come on, you can do it.
Let's listen to what she says first, and then let me channel that.
You should edit it into the video so we can like make it sound like we're trying to impersonate it more. You know?
Okay.
There's the line. And here's the execution. Go.
That's pretty good.
Wow.
It's so funny.
I mean, we'll leave it to the actual Japanese speaker to evaluate. But,
oh God, I feel so bad.
Okay, do Rosas now.
It's the spirit. Yeah, go.
Oh wait, me doing Rosa? What's
Yes.
up? Oh my God, it's like sono. You know, yamena kudasai.
Wow.
And back. Take that.
She doesn't even say yamena kudasai. She says yamenasai, like as in like it's just a different level of like, you know, you're dressing your daughter. Who do you care about saying polite tone? This reminded me like the 2 semesters I took of like community college Japanese, and then just being like, I'm sorry, I don't want to tell people that I like did translations like of like doujinshis and novels, you know, it makes me come off as a total fucking weeb.
That's fucking hardcore. Like, we salute you. You know what? Like, I'm
Salutations,
sure
for sure.
there are thousands of people who've read your translation. So.
That's interesting. That's
Yeah.
Wow.
Okay. Anyway, it doesn't matter now. We have to actually start talking about real Umineko Book Club. We can't just
Wait,
have
what?
us.
Real Umineko Book Club? What?
We're being recorded? What the fuck? Okay. Oh, I wanted to say it's kind of like a reunion because it's been so long, you know?
Yeah.
Okay.
Anyways. All right, shall we get on with the review?
Yes.
The show, the book club. Okay, cool. I'll do my best. Okay. So,
actually,
as I said...
I'm
yeah?
sorry, Lorenzo, but we have another little thing to say. It's really quick.
Are you fucking sorry? No, it's okay. Go on.
It's just that we have released the smoking room called Authorship Theory or something like that, which is very important for you to listen to before going on with the book club episodes, because what we're going to say is going to be based on that episode. That episode has our interpretation of how everything works in Umineko. Of course, only if you've already read Umineko, because it's filled with spoilers. So I highly recommend you go watch that before continuing with the book club, because we're obviously going to jump some steps in reasoning, assuming that you've watched that episode.
Yeah.
And that's it.
Yes.
And we also probably will be continuously revising. So, you know, look forward to the second episode of that. Since I feel like since that episode dropped, I have read so much. I read that super long Reddit comment, which I thought was really, really good. And I didn't even have time to like go down point by point to like say what I agreed with and not. But it will be left to the next smoking room episode of that specifically that I will address them.
Mm-hmm.
Dang. So stay tuned. And as usual, we will begin the first half with a spoiler-free discussion of this portion of the episode. And then afterwards, we will like delve into spoiler territory where we'll like, you know, talk about the episode with the lens of somebody who has read the entirety of Umineko.
Mm-hmm.
All right?
All right.
Sounds good?
Sounds pretty good.
Yes. Let's go.
Sounds like a bad idea. Let's not do it. Okay, cool. So,
No.
all right. This is okay. I think when I was reading it, the way this was written was very confusing because he jumps between like different like points of time and it jumps around like a poorly written Wattpad fanfic, but we'll bear with him.
Well, yeah, actually, we've discussed this in a previous episode, and I was in that and I agreed with you that like it was confusing. But now in a reread, I'm just fucking dumb. It's not confusing.
Yeah, Des, fuck you.
It's
Sorry.
very bad for a first-time reader because you're like, okay, wait, what the hell? It's sort of like he tried to do those really cool transitions in movies where like
Oh yeah,
one
like
thing's happening at one point in time and then
not Inception, like in Pulp Fiction, where like the whole story is scrambled and stuff like that.
a little. I was thinking more like, let's say in one scene, somebody's being shot at to be killed, and then at the same time, like it overlaps with a different shot of people like shooting a rifle in the air to celebrate something, you know? Like
Yes,
that sort of transition. That's sort of what I got from the jumping around in points of time because the scenes are relevant to each other, but for a first-time reader, it's very confusing. Leaves an interesting impression on somebody, I think. Okay, let's go. So, previously, Angie was fleeing from Kyrie's family, right? And she's posted up in a hotel room with oh my god, I forgot his fucking name. Amakusa. Yeah, okay, so they're both hiding out in a hotel, and Angie's currently reading Maria's notebook, her keepsake diary, grimoire, she calls it. and she's having a conversation with this witch version of Maria. She reminds Angie that they are both witches within the mariage sorcière, and gives her a lesson in astral projecting through the roof. In the moment, she is euphoric, very cringe. Even though Angie herself thinks it's kind of cringe, it's also pretty fun for her, especially when you have no friends.
Wow.
And despite that, it seems to work really well for Maria, being a creature manifested by cringe. You know what I'm saying?
Oh my god, bro.
Oh my god. Honestly speaking, I feel like the most relentless thing that's possibly on this podcast is Lorenzo's hate for a child. A fictional child.
True.
She deserves it.
True.
She deserves it.
People be like, bullying is not the answer. And then Lorenzo is like, true, bullying is the question. And the answer is always yes.
That's a good one, yes. I live by those words. So, Maria suggests that Angie uses her magic to summon Beatrice's furniture, and Angie gets triggered by the mention of Beatrice, but since she's Maria's homie, and she just, brushes it off. Until she interrupts herself with intrusive thoughts about the whole Beatrice thing and how her bitch Aunt Ava came up with it to get away with murder. Did that make sense coming out of my mouth?
Sure.
The whole Beatrice thing was a whole scheme pulled by her bitch Aunt Eva I keep saying Eva. Her bitch Aunt Ava to get away with murder.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Well, that's what Angie thinks. Okay, that's kind of not word for word, but that's what's going on in the back of her mind. Throughout this whole chapter, Angie's like, I'm gonna believe in magic. I'm gonna believe in magic. Fuck Ava. Believe in magic. Believe in magic.
Yeah.
So
basically,
Maria gets her back on track, gets her to focus more on magic, and shows her how to summon the Seven Sisters of Purgatory, right? And Angie mentions how they all look exactly like how they're depicted in Maria's grimoire. And then there's some cringy anime girl moe cutscene with the stakes as, high school anime girls and Sakutaro and Maria. Angie's surprised by the fact that these girl bosses aren't brutally murdering this little furry child to death, but Maria reminds her that all of her friends, all of the furniture in the mariage sorcière are friends.
Yeah.
Friendship is magic. They can't hurt each other.
Am I stupid? But this is the scene where there's basically defying gravity, right?
Yes. Yeah, they astral projected through the roof.
Yes, the defying gravity.
No. Wait.
Yes.
Already? No, that's the flashback.
No, that's the flashback. No, not Des. What the fuck am I saying? This is still happening in the hotel, right?
Yes.
Or is this happening?
This is still in the hotel.
It happens in the hotel. No.
It's only
yes, it does.
She's in the hotel, then she flashbacks to when she was training, and then it's during the training that they are floating in sky.
Yes.
Okay, cool.
Hence the confusing timeline. But were you going to say something, Mushroom?
No, I was also confused by your description, so I was like, which part of this are we on now?
Oh,
well,
okay, sorry.
Anyway, that's that. I think whoever's listening understands now.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, that goes without saying. We said in the beginning, the timeline in this scene gets really confusing. So she's trying to learn magic in a different change of scene, but previously she was in the hotel room.
The best way to see this is Ange, who's currently on the run, summons a bunch of the stakes, begins from Mammon through all the stakes in a hotel room. And she basically gets everybody back, and everybody's like, congratulations, and then Angie falls asleep.
Yes, yeah.
And also important to remember, Mammon is not happy to see Ange, but also kind of happy. And then everybody else is also kind of happy, but also not happy to see Ange.
Well, everyone's like a weird tsundere, so it's fine.
Yes.
Yeah. So TLDR, she's in the hotel room. Then after summoning everyone, she's tired, so she goes to sleep, and she dreams about thinking back to her training with Maria on the sky.
She remembers during St. Lucia's Academy, she was trying to project a scene from her mental world, and then that's when they're doing the whole defying gravity shit.
Yeah.
Perfect.
So those are two separate scenes.
And in actuality, she's just in a bathroom stall.
Yes.
Sure.
So very good description, because it got very confusing for me when I got to that point. I was like, wait, what? When did you get here?
Yeah.
So anyways, they're still in the sky. They're all summoning all the demon state girls, and Maria transfers the power to summon the demon state girls to Angie, but she can't bear the burden of cringe, and it imparts a little psych damage on her. So all of them return to the demon hole except for Mammon. So that's her homie that sticks with her. And now we are in the bathroom stall at St. Lucia's, and it turns out Angie was having this magical conversation alone in a dorm bathroom stall. Pitiful, right?
Wow.
Angie summons Mammon again, and Mammon's like, damn bitch, you really live like this? Angie explains that she has no friends, she's alone and emo and bullied, and her favorite pastime is sitting on the toilet, so it all works out for everybody if she stays by herself in the bathroom during free time.
Damn, Lorenzo, so you aren't content with only bullying Maria, now it's Angie too, huh?
Okay, well, Angie's isolation is like a theme. It's supposed to be the vibe you get from reading her story, you know?
But you're not supposed to side with the bullies. You're supposed to feel bad for Angie.
Oh, okay. I mean, you're
Des,
supposed to feel really bad for her.
well, okay, Des, I actually agree how Lorenzo's take on this. Not because I think Angie deserves to be bullied, because I love Angie. But I think if you're the first-time reader, I think at this point you're just, like, annoyed. You're like, why are we not on the island? Who the fuck is Angie? I don't give a shit about her. Like, unless you feel like your heartstrings are getting tugged because she's getting bullied at school, I feel like you would be really bored during this part.
I guess.
Exactly.
That's true. Like, we've been covering, like, this is the third episode of just covering Angie and Maria, and that's it. And next episode's gonna be the same, basically.
Yeah, because Angie is an important character.
I like her.
So anyways, Angie's returning to her room from the bathroom and being trailed along by Mammon. And Angie's like, Mammon, like, get the hell out of here. Everyone's going to see you. But she assures Angie that nobody is as cringe as Angie. And they simply don't have the magical aptitude to even see her. They can't see me, John Cena. You know?
Damn, person who is stuck in old memes or whatever that video is called.
Person who's what? Who talks in memes only. That's me. I only like spill out references that only I understand, and everybody looks at me crazy.
Yes.
It's a hard lifestyle, but I'm cringe and free. Anyways, Angie enjoys Mammon's company as it pulls her from the doom and gloom, but up in her room, it's broken instantly. You know what I'm saying? That's the theme song to Fairly Odd Parents. I threw in another reference in here, and I was like, I don't even remember writing that. I was like, I think my brain's just like made up of referring to things that maybe some people will get.
It's fine.
Like the magic little fish that grants us every wish.
No. I totally understand that, because it reminded me of the conversation I had with Dubs about how, like, you know, aren't we all just, like, brought onto this meat earth so we can continuously make free word association games with each other? It's
kind of fun. So, but did you get that? The Fairly Odd Parents theme?
Yes.
Well,
great.
I'm sorry to disappoint you, but I did not grow up in a place where things are in English.
I mean, we'll link it to you. It's a very catchy theme song, so that's kind of why it's.
No, I know the show. It's just that the song is in Portuguese here, not in English. So I would never catch
what?
that.
I kind of want to hear the Portuguese version.
Really?
What the
Could
heck?
you sing it? Could you sing the song in
Yes,
Portuguese, Des?
Please.
Okay, let me think about it. How did it go?
He's like, all right, let me go. Oh.
I don't even remember how it starts, to be honest, but it's catchy.
Wait.
It's catchy all the same.
Wait.
Jazzy.
No, Lorenzo, sing the beginning part so Des can remember.
God damn, okay.
Timmy was an average kid that no one understands.
Oh, yeah.
Dun, 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 and Vicky. Oh, Mom and Dad and Vicky always giving him commands. I can't sing. My pitch is off. But anyways, you can go off of that, right?
Ah, fuck. I'm trying to find the music on YouTube, but I can't find it. And I don't remember the lyrics. Like, I'm sorry.
Oh, man.
It makes sense in my mind, but I just can't remember the lyrics. Sorry.
You need to know the rap part at least. It's like green moose, guava juice, giant shake, birthday cake.
Mate, I haven't seen this show in like more than 10 years. How do you expect me to just pull that out of nowhere?
I'm sorry. No, it's because I watched a lot of TV as a kid and it fucked with my brain, as you can see. So.
Me too. Like, if you ask me to sing SpongeBob, I can't, but for some reason.
Okay, how do you sing SpongeBob in Portuguese then?
What's his name in Portuguese?
It's the same. Like, we don't translate names. That's a Brazilian thing.
Oh, okay. Oh, interesting. Because I know that, like, the Spanish one calls him, like, Bob Esponja.
Bob Esponja. I know that's Brazilian.
And they call Squidward Carlo.
I'm just laughing at this whole conversation. I just want to know what Portuguese SpongeBob sounds like.
Okay, wait a minute. I'll open the. Let me listen to the song of SpongeBob again.
Okay, cool.
So funny.
Yeah. Okay, so SpongeBob goes. Prontos, meninos? Sim, senhor capitão. Preparados? Sim, senhor capitão. No ananás vive debaixo do mar. SpongeBob SquarePants. Eu não sei quem está sempre a encher. SpongeBob SquarePants. É disparatada, a esponja amarela. SpongeBob SquarePants. Eu não sei quem é amigo dela. SpongeBob SquarePants. Blá blá blá. A nossa esponja do mar. Episode title.
Whoa, that's amazing!
Whoa!
Oh my
like
god,
that.
was so
SpongeBob.
good.
Was it?
Okay.
I was sweating the whole way through, to be honest. It felt like I was singing Happy Birthday.
I can't believe you feel like reserved when you sing the SpongeBob theme and not when you belt out all the Japanese lines from Umineko.
Because whoever's at home is gonna understand what I'm saying. That's why I get cringed out.
Aww. Well,
Also, wait. I also wanna shout out to our Brazilian viewer, the one Brazilian viewer who left a comment. I just wanted to shout out to them. I know that we know you're there.
True.
I'm so sorry, Des. This is literally the most scattered brained episode of the book club we can possibly do. I know we never.
This is the most scatterbrained episode. Anyways, cut to 15 minutes later.
To 15 minutes later.
15 minutes later.
Okay.
Okay. Fuck. So at the St. Lucia dormitory, Angie enjoys Mammon's company as it pulls. Oh fuck! I already said that. That's what derailed us. We're gonna get derailed again. I'm not gonna say it.
This episode feels like a Higurashi episode. I swear to God, like
We trying our best, Des.
it's funny.
Good.
You know.
It's funny, but you fuckers. Okay. So Angie and Mammon are hanging out. She hopes to be able to summon bigger and better things and perhaps even resurrect her dead family. And Mammon says that's very difficult magic, and Angie agrees that she would also need like a vessel or a memento from the person she's trying to summon, which so happens to be the cheap gotcha machine hair ties that she has from when Battler won them for her at an arcade when she was a baby.
Oh, right.
You know? Like, you gotta...
We actually don't know that right now. That scene hasn't happened
Oh,
yet.
no, it happens at the
yeah, it happens, Mushroom.
At the dorm.
Wait, it does happen. It happens at the fucking dinner.
Yes.
When they're
not the dinner. Oh, maybe they did. I think they might have mentioned it, but like
No,
in this scene...
It does, because I even sent the image to Mushroom and told her, okay, you're right. This character, young Angie, does look like a character that I cannot mention in this part.
Oh, yeah, it does. Fuck you. How dare you argue with me the whole time? Just kidding. I think you're great.
But yeah, she's like, oh yeah, we went to round one once and Battler won these for me. And that makes them all the more sentimental because, you know, you could easily win those things or like you can buy the prizes from a claw machine like elsewhere. But, you know, it's the thrill of the kill that makes it all the worth it.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say the thrill of the kill is how I describe claw machines, for sure.
Okay, I mean, like, that's how I feel when we win claw machines. By the way, we have like tons of plushies at home from round one.
See, Lorenzo vives games very vividly.
I know.
True.
We're like, I'm fucking 25 and still have stuffed animals everywhere. It's fine.
Okay,
They're my trophies. my kills. I get her. I know what it feels like to win a claw machine game. But in her case, Battler won it for her. And she's like, wow, Battler, you're so cool. I can count on you for anything. And just like having the hair ties just like reminds her of Battler and reminds her of the hope that Battler would come home to live with them when she was a baby. Mm-hmm. Mammon realizes Angie's intense desire and magical ability to revive and bring back her family, and deems her the Witch of Resurrection. And Angie's like, yeah, I know. In the metaverse, Angie's coming down from her tantrum. Oh, okay, sorry. This is a weird transition. So if you remember way back when this all started, when Angie shows up to the metaverse under the alias Gretel,
Yes,
and looks at Rosa and Maria's like more friendly, loving interaction on Rokenjima.
Yeah.
And she's like, what the hell is this? So she like, has a little hissy fit and she storms off.
She had to go for a cigarette break.
Yeah. Then Mammon tells her to get her ass back in the game. But also, isn't it cool how she finally got to reunite with her older brother like she always wanted to?
Wow.
After that, like the whole world freezes JoJo style, and then Lambda pops in and copy pastes herself into the scene like super paper and talks to Angie. And Angie's got her hackles up. She's this Lambda chick has got big witch energy, and she's playing for the opposite team. So she's obviously bad news, right?
Mm-hmm.
But then Lambda tells her that she's got the scoop, the tea, that Burn is a sussy lying baka, and that she doesn't exactly promise an ending in which Angie's family magically returns to her, like she initially, offered her to start playing in the game. Does that make sense?
Yeah. But it's like the classic contract with the demon or whatever.
Yes, exactly.
With the devil.
She has to be careful what she wishes for, right? And then Lambda starts digging into Angie and how she's being manipulated as Burn's piece for this witches game, even though she promised she can somehow free the Ushiramiyas from the Rokenjima time loop. The Angie we know and pity has her fate sealed. Like, she's already 18 years old. Her family never came back. So who's to say that if Burn Castell can find an ending where the Ushiramiyas safely make it back home, it'll return to this current Angie who's, who we've read or
who's like already 18, already with all these years.
Yes, this old miserable Angie who, relies on her magical demon stick girls and Maria's notebook to get by,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's what Lambda's trying to say. She's like, you're never going to see your family again, right?
Yeah.
She also comments, or Lambda also comments, that Burn Castell should know better as she'd gone through something similar herself. Weird. And essentially, Angie's been tricked. She may find a happy ending in a different fragment or timeline, so technically she wasn't being lied to. It was very deceiving.
Yes, very well thought.
And then Lambda...
This is finally... Bern and Lambda are finally getting more screen time. It feels like they are absent from the games. They are not. But because they have so little screen time, only now are we finally getting to see more of them. Like, as a first-time reader, they just feel like these so powerful beings. And, you thought Bern was on your side. But then this conversation happens, and you're just like, well, fuck, now what?
Yeah, they're playing a different game. They're playing 5D chess at this point because Lambda's telling her as the Witch of Certainty. I don't know if that's the first time she calls herself the Witch of Certainty.
I don't know.
But she's like, I'm certain that you're never going to meet your family again, and even throws in one of those giggles.
Yes.
You know what that means. Lambda's words break down Angie and convince her that she's merely a tool and no longer part of the world or timeline in which she'll hopefully reunite with her family. And in fact, when the game's done and over, Angie will disappear as well. And an interesting note is that it seems that witchdom is denoted in the translation as the name in all caps. So, capital A-N-G-E. Is that different in other languages, Mushroom?
I think how that is differentiated is that everybody's name is usually in kanji or hiragana, whatever it is, and then your witch name is in katakana, and your original name is in the original kanji or hiragana. If that makes any sense.
Yes. Yeah. So it's distinctly different, but still the same word. And in this case, it's in all caps, you're yelling it. So every time you see Angie's name,
Angel!
witch name, you say, Angie! Angie!
Pietolice!
Yes. So you're saying a normal sentence oh, you are the Witch of Resurrection. Angie! Okay.
Yes.
So then Lambda posits her strategy to Angie. Since she's playing alongside Battler in some capacity via the metaverse, despite not being able to reveal her true identity, she can prolong her time with him as she leads him to a draw for all subsequent witch games. An eternal stalemate. She'll get to spend as much time as she wants with Battler. Mm-hmm. In fact, Angie should be glad that the game is being played in the first place. Otherwise, she would have the game would be stored away, forgotten. Board game moment reminded me of a time I played a board game,
Which was in recent time, as you've told us.
Yeah, it's just my life. It's that. There's a tweet that's been going around. It's guy who's watched Boss Baby once or
again, this again, Lorenzo. Seriously?
No, it's a funny tweet where it's like talking about how people always like, use one piece of media as a reference for everything else. So like in this case, it's like always Boss Baby, where somebody who's seen Boss Baby says something else gives them Boss Baby vibes.
This is what we call Boss Babying. Like, as a man who only has seen Boss Baby thinks every movie is a Boss Baby reference.
Yes, me who's played a board game. This is like a board game. So, in the end, Lambda's goal is to draw out the game for as long as possible till Byrne gives in, essentially for all eternity. Lambda realized that Beato wants the game to end at some point. She's striving for a sort of unconventional victory, but she wants to end the game at some point nevertheless. And as Angie's supposed to be Byrne's wild card, Angie was put in the game because somebody needed to pull Battler back into reality and win for the human side. So Lambda wants Angie's non-participation in order to keep Battler from reaching the truth and ending the game, and offers to claim Angie as her own piece and also let her tell Battler that she's his sister.
Mm-hmm. Trying offer.
And again, also addresses her as Angie Beatrice in all caps, which is also pretty interesting. There's another flashback after this, but also a time skip in reality. After the initial lesson of summoning the demon stakes in the sky when they're defying gravity, they're like some point in the future in respect to that point where Angie's got a grip on summoning the rest of the demon stakes. So she's at the park with her demon bitches, and her because her whore-ass classmates deadass drew an entire graph on how the class average would improve, Angie would stop being a dumbass. I was like, wow, damn, okay. But Angie's okay now because she vented her thoughts to her demon thoughts, and she recognized them as her friends, despite the message bottles describing them as weapons of sacrifice.
You said she vented her thoughts to her demon thoughts. That's what you said.
Yeah. Yep. Her thoughts to her thoughts.
Lorenzo, you have such a way with words.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, what a wordsmith.
I'm not very articulate.
I guess he vented her thoughts into the electrical room.
Yes.
You, on the other hand, mushroom.
She got the sussy bucket thoughts.
Oh my god.
Anyways, she's like, I know you guys were written in those message bottles as like, weapons of mass destruction that murdered my family, but you're all right.
You're also hot, and then keep my mind off of sad.
Yeah.
So, it all works out.
Yeah, to be honest, those outfits, like, Ryukishi was on some next level shit with them. Like,
it's very interesting and weird.
The outfits are basically the outfits in
No, they are not. They are different. Mushroom, shut up. They are different, Mushroom. How come you don't know the subtle differences between the different suggestive outfits of when they cry?
You just take off the skirts, right? Like, you just make the skirts open up, and it's just a Higurashi
and you
dress.
give them a nice dress shirt and a nice jacket. Like, come on, and the boat.
I think it's like the leotards.
Okay. So you put a jacket on top of the leotard, and then you take off the skirt, and then now you have it.
And then you give them boots and make them demons.
So it's a completely different outfit. I agree, Tess. You sold me.
Thank you.
Yes. It's the same base layer, let's say that.
Mm-hmm.
With the leotards and then bowl cuts and then, how it's basically the same outfit for everybody. Okay, anyways. So, and she's like, okay, you guys are cool because it's actually the golden whore Beatrice's fault and her cunt Ava, who are truly to blame, obviously, for making them out to be like, murder weapons. And Maria comes along and says, oh, wow, you're studying for school? Good thing I'm dead so I don't have to do homework anymore. Anyways, I was born in the wrong country. So she's sort of like a reverse weeb.
Just dead girl things.
Yeah. So they talk about Angie's aspirations to master revival magic and how she must never stop believing, not even once, otherwise the anti-magic toxin will sap her witch abilities. And all the magical beings are hanging out with her and fuels Angie's desire to continue studying magic and bring back her dead family. Which also fucks up her grades as she flunks the test, despite everybody in the class cheating, including her. Like, they gave her the answers to the test, and she somehow, like, couldn't even do that right.
Wait, they gave her the answer to the test, but it was a wrong test, right? Or was I stupid?
No,
I don't remember.
I think the line was, like, we didn't go as far as to fill the test answers for you, but, like, you should have been able to, like, you know, at least figure out that much, right?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe she did it on purpose.
I think Angie's like, I have a different way of studying, which was like, I was studying magic, obviously. I'm trying to bring back my dead family, you bitches.
I mean, she also talks about how, like, you know, like, you can't really cram for a test anyway, so.
Yeah, well, I somehow made it through college that way, but I guess I'm built different.
Wow.
Not really. I didn't have stellar grades. I'm stupid.
That's fine. Grades don't matter.
You're right. Should just make a living off of this podcast.
And somehow Lorenzo comes out with the coolest fucking job possible, so, you know.
Aww.
I think your job is very cool.
Oh, I do too, but thank you. I'm flattered.
Have you ever told the people what your job is?
I think so.
If you want to talk about it, of course.
I mean, yeah, I, as long as I don't say anything too identifying, it won't bite me in the ass, but I do forensics, basically. So
yeah,
it's cool. I like it.
Lorenzo going to Rockenjima on the aftermath.
Yeah, Umineko moment. This is like an Umineko. But yeah, I'm always at work. I'm saying, oh, this reminds me of the classic visual novel Umineko no Nakukoroni, in which...
Wow, a jaw? This reminds me of Inipi 1 when they find Maria's jaw.
Yeah, I'm like doing... like a Phoenix Wright style, like, or Danganronpa comic piecing together, you know, the crime scene just. So I drew out a whole comic as to how I think the crime went down. Anyways, social commentary moment, because the other students are bullying Angie for lowering the average because apparently it's a collective responsibility thing and now they have to do chores to make up for it. The demon snakes are watching what's going on and voice their opinions regarding the situation. They're like, oh, this is so stupid. Why do you have to study for this test? Like, why don't they worry about themselves, you know? And then, this is kind of really fucked up, but the other students force Angie into this hazing, bullying, cult, ego-destroying situation where they all surround her in a classroom and verbally abuse her. And, like, I've, like, listened to a couple podcasts and, like, read a few articles, but this is literally how they, like, indoctrinate people into cults. They, like, destroy your ego by,
Really?
Yeah.
By, like, verbally assaulting people in the middle of a circle. They all say, like, Let's say something we hate about you, like one by one.
And then the idea is that, like, you're supposed to cry, completely lose the sense of yourself, and then you wake up being like, wow, I feel like I'm totally a changed person, but instead you just got, like, heavily, like, you're completely emotionally annihilated, and, you know, you're ready to rely on them.
Yeah, they neg you into joining a cult.
Damn.
Yeah.
Basically. Yeah, they're doing this verbal abuse circle, and it goes on for literal hours. She's like, it's already past 9. We've been here since 5, and I can't even eat. See what no internet does to a bitch? Their only source of entertainment is, like, verbally assaulting their classmates.
Yeah, actually, as a person, okay, this is a fun part now. I know we're not supposed to go on more tangents, but I do want to. This is my tangent, and I want it. Please, thank you.
This is your moment. Yes.
This is my moment. Also, because the parts that we're actually covering today are not that much. We're only covering 2 chapters, so.
No, we're covering 4 as always.
Well, 4 chapters in total, but it's only 2 parts, like, you know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But what I was trying to say is that this is what no internet does to a motherfucker. Like, I went to boarding school for 9 years of my life between my 1st grade to my 9th grade, that going to school in China. Like, in a boarding school in China, I went with school with, like, kids that are semi-rich, like, as in, like, upper middle, basically, or, like...
They can afford boarding school?
Yes, who could afford boarding school. But boarding school is not as expensive in China as in America, but nothing is, basically.
Mm-hmm.
But the crazy thing is, like, bullying in my school was fucking wild. And, like, I actually did really well in boarding school because since the concept of, like, the thing about boarding school is that you just have to be there long enough that you're just basically know everybody. So, like, everybody has been friends or enemies for, like, 9 years. So, like, it, like, honestly is at a stalemate. But every time we get a new student, it is the most awkward and awful thing possible because you're literally walking into a school setting where everybody has known each other for like 8 years. Like, so like, for example, there's this kid who transferred to our school and it's in 8th grade, and people like bullied him relentlessly, like for no fucking good reason. He was just like a really awkward kid. Like somebody peed in his like shampoo and like stole like literally like stole shit from her. Some girl put like a pad on like an of course unused, but like a pad on his seat, like shit like that, like really fucked up wild stuff. And like,
oh my god,
when I was in like, the reason why I read so much books is because like you have nothing better to do in boarding school than just to occupy your as much as your time with other things before you fucking lose your mind and start like tearing people's face off.
That's some literal Lord of the Flies ass shit. So I guess the experience Angie has at this boarding school is like not completely unrelatable.
Oh, I yes, I totally, when I read this, I was like, yep, this sounds totally legit. Like, I could totally see this happening. But I also know, like, for example, like, I mean, in any school systems in China, like, your whole grade system is completely posted for everybody to see. Like, you know, you can see everybody's ranking in the whole, like, your whole grade. Like, you can see, like, who's the top person, who's the first person, who's the last person. And, like, it's just, like, fucking wild. Like, I just remember how like ridiculous it is. I liked boarding school though. It was a lot of fun. Like, I did fairly well. Like, I was a well-liked person. Like,
you're a well-liked person now. So.
Oh, thank you. But no, I definitely participated I don't necessarily believe that like that I participation in bullying, but there's a lot of bullying that happens that you're just like, oh, that was not okay. Like, some girl used to be a bully in elementary school and people fucking hated her. So when she got to middle school and then like people like, and she basically became like more she became more isolated because when we switched classes, she became like one of the only girls in our class that was like used to be a bully. So she was so miserable because people just stopped talking to her and ignored her. And then one day she like at her losing point, she just started crying during physics class, and then everybody just like looked at her while she cried profusely while the teacher ignored her and just kept like teaching. And everybody was passing around notes being like, did you see her crying? And it was just so fucked up. And like, and
so you're saying she deserved it? No,
kinda, and also yes and no at the same time. And then she later on locked herself in a closet, and then everybody just like let her do it. And then she was in the closet for like 2 hours, and everybody was like, "Whatever, I'm not even gonna go call the teacher. Like, you're just a bitch. Like, stay in the closet." It was really fucked.
Yeah, I think boarding school sounds psychologically damaging, but glad you made it out all right.
All schools are, don't worry.
Yeah, childhood is traumatizing, I guess.
I was gonna say, I'm glad, Mushroom, that you're able to tell us that this is, that Angie's experience is, like, fits the real world counterpart, because I was gonna say, I've seen a pretty good amount of bullying at school, but I have always thought that what Angie went through was kind of unrealistic, because, like, the bullying I've seen is of a different nature, but I guess Angie's experience isn't unrealistic. I just can't relate with her.
Yeah, I mean, I think like bullying in Asian schools has a lot to do with like, of course, social status, but also just a lot to do with like grades. Like, I was really like, you feel really bad about like being bad in school. Like, you actively, genuinely want to be better. Like, so one of the most fucked up things my school did in my 8th grade and 9th grade year is that they created the system, which is like a buddy system, where the school pairs you, every class you are in pairs yourself with another student, like, and you have to be responsible for their grade, and you have to be responsible they have to be responsible to your grade. So it was insane because basically you are a team, and like if one of the other person's grade is bad, it like reflects poorly on both of you. Somehow I was paired up with my ex-girlfriend, and it was fucking awful because she was better.
No.
So I was better in certain subjects and she was better than me, and I remember literally crying to be like, I am going to ruin your grade and we're both gonna get in trouble. And then like, not even like, these are like real scenarios that happens in school. Like, I would remember like going to my teacher's like office to stand for like 2 hours for bad grades. Like as in like if
What?
you get in trouble, like
That's fucking insane. What?
like your teacher would just be like, look at this sheet of like testing paper that you did poorly on and look at it for 2 hours, and you have to just stand there in silence, standing in the corner of like your teacher's office while reading like a paper that you did wrong.
What the fuck?
How's that supposed to help? It's sadistic.
Not only do you have to carry the weight of the bad grade, you have to carry the weight of people dissing you for your bad grade, then the weight of being grounded for your bad grade too. Like, what?
Yeah, like as a like so yeah, my boarding school was the type of place where you only get to go home once every other week. So like you'll just stay there. Like I used to be a really sickly person. Like I would get sick a lot, and then even if you get sick, like unless you're like your brain is like boiling out of your ears, like they will never send you home. So like I remember I would have to go like sleep at the nurse's office while like basically missing classes, and if I miss classes that's on me and I have to fucking figure it out. It's like boarding, like Chinese education system is fucking wild. However, they do learn way more than like American people do, and like when I moved to America I was like, dude, you guys still haven't learned chemistry and you're in 11th grade, like what the fuck are you talking about?
What? Damn, that's also strange to me.
Yeah. Anyway, so that's my personal context to if I find this part realistic, and I do. Like I find this whole conversation extremely realistic. Like I can totally imagine these kind of things are kind of encouraged in Asia too. Like you're supposed to look down on people who have bad grades. Like you're supposed to, like, people think like these are healthy competitions and these will be good for the children.
Yeah.
I don't know, like anyway, sorry. This is just more context for you as a person.
No, yeah, that's good context. I like it because
Yeah.
you're reading it and you're like, it can't be that bad, and you tell us that, and you're like, it is that bad.
I mean,
is.
hearing about people peeing in other people's shampoo bottles is probably the most shocking thing you can possibly imagine.
Oh man, so that peeing scene in Umineko is totally justified. No,
Wait, what? What being
No,
seen
no.
in Umineko?
I'm joking, but you're saying all these things that happen in real life. Like, it's not unlikely that there's been a couple peeing incidents in the world of Umineko. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
I don't
yeah.
Anyways.
Okay, sure.
I was actually gonna say that I guess we can take this whole conversation as the unwritten story of Angie in boarding school.
Yeah, like, that's why she's so miserable. Like,
Yeah.
she deserves fairy godparents, you know?
I think she's more miserable because she's also in an all-girl school. Like, I went to a co-ed school, so it was okay. I think, like, it's still, like, better. I feel like I could never imagine going to all-girls school. I imagine that would just be so awfully catty and just, like, even worse. Like, the whole peeing incident happened with dudes. Like, I don't know. Like the girl side of bullying is way more just like, I will never talk to you. Like, nobody will ever talk to you. And, like,
Damn.
people will say horrible things about you. But not, like, you pee in other people's bottles. Like,
That's
none
like
of that.
mindfuckery. That's bad, too.
Oh,
That's
yes.
really bad. But, yeah, so just to, like, you know, get a feel for Angie's situation. She's bullied, isolated at school, and she has virtually no family to even talk to. So she's like completely isolated on both ends.
Poor Angie.
But yeah, so except her magical girlfriends, you know, they're in the study hall. They're doing the hazing situation in the study hall. For literal hours, Maria and all the magical girls are watching, and Angie finally breaks and commands them to go beast mode on her classmates. But because she's in a room full of not cringe-ass babies who believe in magic, they're all immune to magic and thus cannot be hurt directly.
Yeah. So before that scene basically starts, the bully girls hands her a letter, and it's basically saying like, I'm a bad girl and like this is I deserve it, like blah blah blah.
Yeah.
Like basically a letter of that. And then Angie says, I can't read this, and that's when she like is her snapping point and her wanting to tell everybody like to like basically kill these people already for her.
Yeah, and in her head she's like completely losing it. She's like breaking down, she's screaming, she's taking her anger out on the stakes and calling them stupid, cringe, imaginary friends, and fucking vaporizes them. Like, they all die, quote unquote, before her eyes.
So yeah, this is the moment where she basically her voice acting in here carries. Like, so she basically starts denying every single person and says, like, well, if you're not gonna kill them for me, then you're not real. You're all imaginary. You're all fake. And she goes from, like, every single sister, and then, like, one of the last people she gets rid of is, like, Mammon. And,
is Mammon. Yeah, exactly. So Mammon's the only one left and tells Angie that they can only help kill if she gets her hands dirty first. First and foremost, they are furniture that must be used and, can't do things on their own.
Yeah, they can only do things that their master themselves can do. So if Angie cannot kill someone, they can't either.
Exactly. Yeah. Like, you can't just, like, guns don't kill people. But,
oh my god,
Angie...
that's true. Basically, guns don't kill people, people kill people. And then AJ basically is like, I don't understand what you're saying. Like, are you telling me you can't kill them? Like, the whole reason I'm telling you to kill them for me is because I cannot kill them.
And then here's an interesting point or moment. If she wants, Angie could take her anger out on the stakes instead in order to please their master, right? So they could be punching bags if they can't serve her as murder weapons. And then Maria tells Angie that she basically violated the Geneva Conventions by, killing her magical friends.
Yeah.
And Angie retorts that she's done being a cringe ass nene baby and mocks Maria, telling her that Sakutaro is just a dumb imaginary friend and that he's never going to be a real boy.
Yeah.
And then there's like a flashback in this whole breakdown scene where it's like a black and white version of the other mansion backdrop we saw at the beginning of episode 3, I believe.
Yes.
Where presumably younger Angie is making fun of Maria for pretending Sakutaro is a real lion. And Maria excommunicates Angie from her secret witch club as a result. And then back in the hazing room, Angeli finally gets that she was being, embarrassing. She was embarrassing herself by believing in magic this whole time and decides to forget all about it. And then she concedes that maybe at a later point in time she'll have fond memories of having imaginary friends in high school, but she had a good time.
Yeah. So I want to say, like, this is the point where Angie gives out the best performance in the whole where she starts reading the letter that the girls in her class like gave her, and then she reads through half of it, and then she's just crying. And, like, the whole time, like, silently, like, angrily clenching, crying. And then she starts saying, like, and then she just starts, like, saying things from her,
speaking from the heart.
Speaking from her heart. And then she just, like, she's like, it is a shame that I am alive. Like, I should have died on the day of 1986. But why am I here? Like, you should have, like, I asked my imaginary friends to kill me. I asked, like, the world to kill me. I hate my real classmates, and I asked you to kill me, but nobody will kill me. And I, like, somebody please let me die. Like, this scene, I cry every single time I watch this scene. Like,
it's very powerful.
It is so powerful.
Especially since it follows, like, her, like, just screaming at everybody in her head. Like, you see what it was like in the Stone Age when all you had was imaginary friends and you didn't have Twitter or Pornhub. Like, you just lose your mind.
Why is this where your mind takes you?
They didn't see what no internet does to a bitch. Okay. But yeah, you get this epic monotone monologue. She's like snapped. She's like on insane school shooter mode where she's like, I, Ushirimiya Angie, am a piece of shit.
Oh, that's very true. She basically was gonna commit a school shooter, basically.
Well, she was thinking it when she was like telling the stakes to kill for her, right?
No, I agree.
So she's like, she's reading her letter. She's like, I'm a piece of shit. And honestly, you should know by now that my family's fucking dead. And also, I have no friends. Not even imaginary ones at this point. I think you should just kill me. Like, why hasn't anybody done that already? You dirty cunts. And then she dissociates AF, says that she died that day along with her family, as Mushroom just said.
Yeah.
And then a teacher comes to intervene, and then Angie starts to believe that only actual human beings can, like, save her. And then Maria just has to butt in to get the last word and says, yeah, sure, if that's what you think.
Yeah.
And if Angie can't deal with the hand that she's dealt, it is what it is. She'll never find true happiness. But no matter what, Maria and Sakutaro and all the magical girls that we've been hanging out and having a good time with will always be there for her. Ooh. And that's the end of the recap.
Whoa, Mushroom.
Thank you so much for sticking with us.
Sorry?
Huh? I was gonna say I'll like close off the non-spoiler discussion, and then we can like do a quick.
We don't need to finish it yet because Mushroom, you can finally have the payoff of talking about why Mamon is angry at Angie when she summons her.
Yes. Okay. So.
Oh yeah, go off.
I mentioned about on the previous episodes we argued a lot about how's Umineko confused this way, and it's like really weirdly like structured. And the thing is like in the very beginning of this scene, like in our recap of this episode, starts with Angie summoning Mammon in the hotel room, and Angie and Mammon getting really mad and trying to kill Angie, but she fends her off, and then later on you see every single sister who she summons shows up and is really confused either if they're alive or really angry. So you're like, what's that all about?
Oh.
And then it loops back to a scene where, it loops back to the scene where she first learns about summoning summoning stakes and Mammon and all of that. And then it leads on to the other scene where you learn like she's miserable, and you see her going through her everyday life, and how stakes with her really makes her really happy. And then you see her eventually in the end of the scene killing all the stakes. So like that's actually a perfect, I show you in a conclusion and then I show you what leads up to it. It's just that in Umineko, the reason why it feels confusing is because the payoff feels so far away from the first scene, because at that point you probably already been reading for like 6 hours.
Mm-hmm. Or you've taken like 2 weeks to read from one point to the other, which is very possible to happen.
Yeah.
I was going to say, like, it only took up until you explaining it for me to finally get the continuity. I was like, oh, no wonder. So thank you for that.
But isn't that cool to think about the continuity that way? Because it's like, it really pays off to be like, oh, and this is why they were mad the whole time. And it totally made sense why they were not, like, happy to see Angie in the first place, but then was glad to see her again and was able to see all the stakes again. This scene, like, of Angie reading about how worthless she is hits me hard every time. Like, it's so painful to read, and, like, the voice acting just, like, tops the chart. Like, it, like, hits home so bad, and because, like, when I think Yukari is the I forgot who the voice actor is, but like the voice actor who plays her is like literally crying when she's like reading, and you're just like, oh my god.
Yeah, I know, right?
It's really painful, and her whole speech in the end, it makes me so sad. But yeah, I do think that EP4 is confusing for a first-time reader, because nobody who's a first-time reader would literally sit there in front of the screen and then consume all the Umineko in a cohesive way. Like, everybody probably spends a lot of time taking breaks, and like, you only read like 2 hours by a time. So like, it always feels fragmented, but like, if you look at EP4 in a cohesive whole, I don't think it's that confusing.
Yes, very good. I wouldn't say good writing, but it's great in the grand scheme of things. Very confusing. Like, pacing-wise, horrible, but in the big picture, chef's kiss. Amazing. But
true.
If you haven't read past this point, please log off. We are going to talk about major spoilers, but in the meantime, we'll see you next time. Thank you for listening. See cats do crimes. See you in a year.
See ya.
Okay. All right, cool. So, spoiler discussions.
Yes.
Really quick. Again, thank you for the huge talk about the continuity. Again, Mushroom, that was very enlightening, I have to say.
I'm glad. I had this since I think we had this argument like a few weeks ago about continuity.
A few weeks? You mean a month? More than a month?
Yes.
That's a few weeks. A month is a few weeks.
I guess you're right.
It's several weeks even.
But it's selling it short.
Yes, that's true. But yes, go for it. What do you want to say?
Okay, so let's talk about Bern, because
good, yes.
This is something I was thinking about. Bern promises Angie to go look for a fragment where her family is happy and bring it to her, right? She says like, oh, I've been looking for this fragment, and if you help me, I'll look for a fragment where your family comes back. However, like, Bern is trying to solve the mystery. So it wouldn't make sense for her to go look at the Sea of Fragments while trying to solve the mystery, because then she would be looking at all the possibilities and like getting closer to the answer through illegal means, if it makes sense, right?
Okay.
So I think she either was bluffing, because then in EP7 she does look into the Sea of Fragments to bring Ange and Rion, like the bad fragment, right?
Yes.
So she either was bluffing in that she would bring a happy fragment to Angie, or she simply just meant, oh yes, I will. Maybe she planned to give it to Angie, but only after figuring the solution, because only then would she look into the Sea of Fragments, right?
I think she was totally bluffing. I agree with Des in a way, like she couldn't have been looking for it, because I feel like in the conversation where Angie has with Lambda Delta, and like Lambda Delta's like, what is the point of you getting like a perfect fragment anyway? It's not like you can be living in it. Like, what do you want about that? Like, she's like what would it possibly even be useful for that at all? Like, she doesn't have to hold up her end of the bargain at all. Like, if she finds it or not, she just says she will try to find you one. She didn't even say guarantee you that for at all. Like, you know, and like if you can't live in it, like it's completely useless to you.
Yeah.
And in a way, she does find a quote unquote perfect fragment in EP like 7, but that's not even a perfect fragment for Angel. It's just a perfect fragment of the island.
Yes. And I also wanted to say, like, I mean, sure, we all know this by now, but like, you know, in the world of When They Cry, the world within a fragment continues as normal despite the observer / main character not being a part of it. So now, you know, like, despite being promised a happy ending, it'll happen like in an alternate reality, you know, like, so that's where Maria's point of view and like her magic can, like, you know, bring salvation to the current Angie that we're, you know, seeing.
Yeah. Speaking of Maria, all of these scenes with Maria and Angie, it's like your how to understand magic 101, because it's honestly so blatant and so well explained, even though you don't understand shit of what they're saying as a first time reader.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
it's
for
really
sure.
funny because I constantly am worried that I'm like, oh, I feel like Umineko is being too obvious with his hints, and then I talk to like Dubs, who is really confused, and I was like, I guess not. Like, I guess even if I feel like it's really obvious, because like the Umineko like EP4 is literally explaining to you like how does construction of magic work, how does like how does one like just basically starts like you know, you start with imagining, and then you start like picturing yourself, and you're literally just using your imagination. Like, it's like there's nothing that like fancy about it at all.
Yeah, I think the classroom scene that we just covered is the most obvious thing.
Yeah.
But the thing is that even if you figure out, even if by that scene you understand, okay, Angie was just imagining the stakes, extrapolating that to the bigger story, to the story itself of Beato and Butler, takes so many steps that people just don't reach that conclusion in EP4.
Yeah, that's basically what happened to Dubs. Dubs like literally read the scene and was like, yeah, so magic can do what she like, even if she wants it, but he can't piece together everything else. And I'm like, you know, you're still not there yet.
I got to that point too, not to be like, oh, I knew it, but I think that scene was when I was like, okay, so the magic is there to obscure, like, cover up like an actual murder. Like, if she needed to go apeshit, she needed to literally like actually murder people and then use the demon stakes as an excuse.
Yes.
But then I was like, oh, I don't know how that applies to the Rokenjima murders. Must be magic instead. So
yeah,
very telling.
It's pretty incredible. Yeah, I think like that scene is like really, really telling and explains to you, you know, like it's all about magical thinking and really just like tricking your brain into doing a bunch of stuff. And I think like it is fascinating how well this scene like explains it in like the most like dramatically like intense way possible, because like, you know, meanwhile you're reading about this like really upsetting part about like Anju, and you know, like she's literally crying and like begging for death, and you know, you might not be thinking about the mystery that hard at the moment because you can't help but like feel bad for this whole situation.
I also like how in other scenes when the demon stakes are, you know, just being demon stakes, they act as Angie's thoughts, like mouthpieces for Angie's thoughts, like she's being bullied, or like they're talking about like the collective responsibility, and then each of the demons, like, or the demon stakes, like give their own input, obviously within their like within their character, like, the demon of greed or lust or hunger, they're all just like saying it in a way that's thematically relevant but also voices Angie's thoughts. And like,
yeah, exactly, like as a these are only her thoughts, like, like they're not nobody else's.
Yeah, and then like also described in like, the seven deadly sins, like, how do I want to say it? It's like a portraying Angie in the way of the seven deadly sins. Obviously, it's like a more cutesy anime kind of surface level like dive into her personality, but at least you can kind of like get a better feel for her.
Yeah. I also want to say, like, Des and I had this argument before about like, oh, what does the scene with like with Maria represents? All of the Maria talking scenes with like Angie. In my brain, I think Maria's scenes with Angie represents the fact that from a logical standpoint, Angie understands how she should be living. Like, she understands that like maybe letting go of her hate is really important. Like, maybe like she should just like move on with her life. Like, maybe it's time to forgive. But I don't like, it's the honestly type of thing where, like when people say like you cannot logic something out of somebody, something that they didn't logic themselves into, like as in like, even though in her rational brain she understands that she should forgive, like her emotionally she would never be able to forgive like Eva. And like and even begin to understand all of that. And like it's just really, really painful, because like I think like part of her is her own brain pleading to her, being like, you really just need to see that you could be possibly happy. Like, you can find happiness anywhere.
Yeah, but also, as we've talked about in the previous episode, it's also maybe just subconsciously Angie doesn't want to admit that she could have done something for her life to be different, because now there's nothing she can do except feel bad about it.
Yeah. No, I totally also agree with that. Like, it's really obvious to me that like Angie is basically like, she had missed every single opportunity to possibly ever bridge her life with Eva, and now Eva's dead. And like, like it doesn't get worse than that. So like even if she could have like found happiness with Eva, like that is a possibility that's completely closed off to her forever.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, but also it's like her story is a tragedy because she lost her family at a young age, and like both the only two people who like had to rely on each other like just didn't, and she was like a child, like when you're in high school, like you're not emotionally mature enough to like do all that legwork, especially if you
true. That's very
true. Something traumatic.
I mean, especially she was like fucking 6 when it first happened. Of course, she definitely did not have enough emotional maturity to do that much.
So I guess it's like Maria's age, like being a 9-year-old and being like the authority, like being an authority on how you can find happiness in life, and also being like a child character is very symbolic of how
only at that age did Angie have hope, something like that.
Yeah, exactly, yes, thank you for wording that for me.
Yeah, like as in like she wished she was like Angie when she was like 9. Oh, that's such a good way to see
like
that.
Maria.
Like like Maria.
Yeah. And at the end of the chapter they're like, we'll always be there though, like she still has hope if she can like forget about everything, like go back to when,
or not even go back to, but just like to develop that like maturity in her heart to be able to see past all of this and grow as a person.
Like not regress until like adult baby diaper loving stuff. But
what are you trying to say?
I think Lorenzo is trying to say that she could learn to be less nihilistic.
Yeah, exactly. Yes. Yeah, more free.
I like how Lorenzo takes the points of like trying to make a good point in the story and then just says something fucking batshit.
Thanks.
Like in the middle of trying to make a really good argument, he says something really stupid.
Yeah.
This story, Umineko, could be a totally different story if the wrong person wrote it. You know what I'm saying?
Well, actually, yes, I do have a point later down that I want to make about what ifs in Umineko if someone else wrote
somebody else wrote Umineko.
Yes.
I would have simply written it shorter and better. I can't wait for the American adaptation. I heard, like, I don't know if it's official, but they're doing like a stage play of it? Like a stage play adaptation. Is that real?
Oh yeah, that came out today, right? The announcement.
What? Huh? Everybody's gonna be like skeletons by the time the theaters like reopen. Like, what the heck?
Well, wait. Are they gonna adapt all of Umineko in a single stage play? They're gonna be there for like 3 days.
They can't do that.
No, I think it's just gonna be like I think it's just gonna be at least EP1 or something. I mean, they do stage plays of lots of anime stuff. Like, they did Persona 4 stage plays and they did Persona
They did
3.
Rose Guns Days somehow.
Really? That sounds amazing.
Yeah.
They did? Oh, okay. Well, I mean, I didn't read it, but I can only imagine how that turned out. So go off, Japanese theater. There's a word for theater. Like, it's like a funny, like, hoity-toity word. I can't remember.
You are a funny hoity-toity word. Just
No,
Jesus Christ.
It's like calling somebody a polyglot, but like for theater. It's like what's the word? It sounds like really official, but it's basically calling you a theater kid.
Okay. Anyway, Des, what else do you want to talk about?
Okay, so I know I'm always talking about the Witches of Truth and how Ange is one, but like when this was opened, like when my eyes were open to this, I just had such an epiphany. So every time I see something to comment about Ange being a Witch of Truth, I just have to bring it up. And this time, it's an interesting parallel because Lambda says...
Wait, before this... before Des is gonna go into his Witch of Truth thing. So, let's clarify that thing we were mentioning in the episode, but we didn't say because it was spoiler free. Is that so? I feel like in a few episodes ago, Des and I starts talking about Witches of Truth, and I said that Ange is basically like that. The creation of Erica is basically what if Ange but evil, like what if and then I said even her design is a reflection of Ange because it's basically like if Ange's hair was long, like basically if it was just like her hair and like
if her pigtails were twin tails.
Yes, pigtails and tails. And then Des heard it was like, no, that makes no sense. You're just being silly.
Well, I was referring to the sprites. You were referring to the CG that pops up in this part, which I hadn't seen yet.
Well, I mean, I'm talking about the CG, like I'm talking about the sprites, but I'm also just talking about vibe-wise, like
Yeah, vibe-wise, I agree. I just didn't agree with the sprites. But yeah, CG on screen. This is the CG we're talking about. So yeah.
Anyway, I win.
You do. So
okay, great. Let's continue.
So Lambda in this part says, "What's a peace roll when the game ends?" I'll state it clearly. Your existence is a contradiction. And once again, fucking Ange being a witch of truth. Because witches of truth, their one goal in life is to find out the truth about a specific topic. So when they do find out the truth about that specific topic, their reason for existence disappears because they've reached the truth. Just like a piece in a game. The objective of a piece is to play the game. So if the game ends, what's the role of the piece? They just go back in the box, right? So Ange is self-destructing in 2 different ways right now. Or in 3, I guess. Mentally, with the way she copes with stuff. As a witch of truth, because her only goal in life is to find out the truth of Rokkenjima. And searching for that truth is self-destructing, because then she'll have no reason to live. And as a piece, because the game will end eventually.
Very good point.
The reason she doesn't is because then, Golden Truth and shit.
Yes.
Yeah, I was actually thinking about the whole Ange and the conversation. So when we first read that part, Dubs was really unimpressed because he doesn't really like the concept of, saying like, oh, it doesn't matter that like if she finds you the fragment because, you're not living on that fragment. You're just going to find it for another Angie. But like, how Umineko actually explains it is not like that at all. What Umineko says is that like, oh, like, why does it matter if Bernkastel finds you the piece, finds you the perfect fragment? Because, the perfect fragment would mean nothing to you because you are not Ange. You are a piece of Ange. Like, you are the concept of Ange. You're not the real Ange. Like, the real Ange is in the real world somewhere. You are a piece that like a conceptual Ange I plucked up to insert into the fabric of Rokkenjima, which I think it's like actually really good, like another good example of explaining Umineko, but it doesn't, so nobody understood it. So like until like you reread, but
So I think like Angie can also represent the reader. You know, when you binge a piece of media and you're empty inside, that's exactly how the track Angie's on when she's like, I'm going to dedicate my life to reaching the end of Umineko. And then after that, you're like, oh, what? I'm empty. I'm dead inside.
Yeah, but like, you know, the piece that she's going into is also the murder of her family, of course.
Okay, yeah, that too, I guess.
But yes, do you have anything else you want to talk about?
Yes, well, another thing that's mentioned in this episode is the rule about how Angie cannot tell her real name to Butler. That's a rule that Bern made for Angie. And
yes,
what I'm gonna say now refers to EP6 when Angie pops up again, and we'll probably talk about this more in depth once we get there. But because it's brought up here,
I see.
Because it's brought up here, I want to talk about it.
Okay, good for.
Because in the authorship episode, we explained why Angie pops up again, even though she was dead in the meta world. Why does she pop up again in the meta world in EP6? We explain it through the mystery side, into the real, like, what's below the layer of metaphor, right? And so we reached the conclusion that it's just because Angie stopped going by her real name, IRL, and then she only used it again to get in contact with Ikuko. So that's why that happens. But
oh fuck! Oh my god!
Right, Lorenzo?
Yeah.
You need to go listen to the authorship episode. It's so good. It's filled with stuff like this.
Oh, that's such a good point. Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay. Huh.
The authorship episode is very wild. We spend so much time just like explaining everything, and it's also even more absurd because the problem, like I mentioned about the author episode, is that we didn't even have time to explain all of our thoughts. Like every time somebody in the comment section brought up something, like I'm just like beating my head, being like, "Oh, I didn't even explain that clearly," or like I didn't even get to say that thing, or I didn't even get to explain how the different characters in each EP are written slightly differently because of which author writes it. Like, for example, like Battler is written differently in AP 1 and 2 and EP 3 onwards because it's a different person writing Battler.
Yeah.
But anyway, so look forward to that eventually.
Yeah, please do. So my thought was just that we explained it through the IRL part, but we didn't explain why that's possible in Umineko magic terms, right? So
yes,
basically Angie at this part is Bern's piece, so the rule applies to Bern's piece, to Angie as a Bern piece. So later on, when Angie pops up again, she pops up as Featherin's piece. So the rule is no longer in place. She is able to be revived under different ownership, which is also what Lambda is proposing, for Angie to become Lambda's piece and be rid of the rule. So that's why Angie is able to revive in EP6.
interesting.
I wanted to ask, like, how is Angie exactly Bern's wild card for like winning the human side? Is it because Angie's like intense desire to pin Ava as a murderer or find a human culprit is strong enough for her to like reason out how the human side could possibly win, or is there like another reason?
No, I think to me, in my perspective of why Ange is like the perfect piece for Bern is because like this actually comes from a conversation I had with Dubs. He doesn't believe even if like this is Dubs who is currently on EP4, almost finishing. He says he doesn't believe that even if Battler had signed the contract in the end of EP3, Beatrice would have won. So it's clear to Beatrice, like, or clear to readers and to Beatrice that, like, you know, she pulled the plug of being like, haha, it was actually all a lie, I was tricking you. But, like, you know, she never was intended for him to sign it anyway. But, like, I think from the perspective of Bern Castell, like, you know, that's Beatrice being a total like whiny baby, being like, oh, I want to play the game more, and like prolonging the game. So for her to introduce Ange, it basically forces Beatrice to play the game more seriously, because since like Ange would probably throw a lot of like to see it in a more like witch of truth, like with more hard facts and trying to grill Beatrice in a way.
So you're saying like Angie would not stand by another game finishing like that?
Yes, correct.
It's either win or a loss. No ties here.
Yes.
I guess.
But yeah, so I think like that's what makes Beatrice that's what makes Ange the perfect person to have basically like be the piece for Byrne, because to Byrne she's like a piece that is very like forward driven and would get her shit done. But like I also think like I think it is mentioned in the very end of EP4 where Byrne Castell discarded Ange, of course, and then Beatrice has this whole conversation where she's like, like, wow, how cruel of you. Like, I wouldn't even call like Ange a piece. Like, Ange is a trump card. Like, it's a card that you use immediately and then just discard. Like, you didn't even intend for her to like stay on this game board. You were just gonna use her effectively once and then just like and then completely disregard her at all. Like, she's like, that's because she's different. Like, in a way, like piece in chess, like you play it more like times until before you like kill it, but like a trump card you play it once and then it's done.
Yeah, well, I'd like to add more points to why Ange is such a good piece for Byrne. First of all, she comes from the future. Future knowledge is always good to solving a mystery, because Butler only has knowledge of what happened on the island. He doesn't know what's the aftermath like, who survived, who didn't, what's the circumstances. Ange has a bit more insight into what may have happened on the island that Butler will never be able to attain because he doesn't live past that day. And also, Ange kind of works like a way for Butler to know, oh, Ange was alone. Like,
yeah, it lights a fire underneath his ass to remember being like, hey, there's a world outside of your stupid bubble of an island, and you have an actual living sister who was waiting for you this whole goddamn time to come home.
Yeah, because Butler was clearly getting too comfortable with living in this meta world and not solving the fucking game.
Or just taking his sweet ass time to solve the game.
Did that clear it up for you, Lorenzo?
Yes, it did. I had those thoughts as well, but it helped a lot to hear you guys articulate and say it out loud. So thank you.
It's fun.
Yes. Now about I'm reaching the end, don't worry. I know we've basically recorded for 2 hours now. How much time do you guys have left?
I have plenty of time.
Lorenzo?
Yeah, I do too.
Okay.
Go off.
I won't take too much time. I have 2 more thoughts and that's it. So, Lambda Delta offers to make Ange her piece if she promises to play for a perpetual tie, and even says that she'll take the rule name away. So that makes me imagine a scenario where Ange did take Lambda's offer to become Lambda's piece. So the scenario I'm imagining is super. It's basically like, as we know, Beato dies at the end of EP4, but Lambda is rooting for a perpetual tie, which is why she shackles Beato into the game board. So if Ange became Lambda's piece, I'm imagining because of this conversation that Ange just had with Lambda about how after the game ends, Ange will just go back to her world without her family. And even if her family comes back, they will not come back to this Ange that she is. What if Ange just thinks like, okay, then I'm just gonna live forever in the meta world with my brother. So she takes the mantle of Beato and becomes the one trapping Butler in this meta world. And then in EP5, she would be in the role of Beato.
Oh shoot!
But you mean in the role of Beato in the way as Beato would be in a vegetable state, or like she would be the opponent of Butler?
Beato wouldn't be in a vegetable state because she only is in a vegetable state because Lambda shackles her to be there. Otherwise, she would just die and go away, right? So
yes.
Beato would just actually die, and because Ange would not have to, like, Ange only says her name to Butler because of the circumstances of EP4. If Ange had became Lambda's piece, that rule would not be there. So Ange could tell her name all she wanted, right? So she would not disappear, and she would be there for EP5. And because she wouldn't want to let Butler go, she would be the one to trap him here.
Well, that doesn't make any sense. How would she trap him here? Who the fuck is writing the game board? Then I guess, like, since if Beatrice is
Lambda knows the answers.
Well, I guess would Beatrice still be around then? Like,
No,
like
but
I guess.
Beatrice dies in the end of EP4.
Well, no, but like Beatrice only dies in the end of EP4 because she's fucking tired of it. I'm just saying that like what I think like what would happen in the scenario would be maybe tag team Battler and Ange fighting Beatrice. I mean, Beatrice will still falter. I mean, I still think the scene will happen, but like I think.
Okay, yes. Then I guess my scenario is in the case of, besides Angie becoming one of the Peace, she also decided that she wanted to be forever in the meta world.
But like, what does that scene mean in a literal standpoint? Like in a non-magical standpoint?
Sorry, which scene?
Which scene?
Like, not which scene. Like,
what?
As in, like, the scenario that Des is trying to describe. Like, what if Angie decided to be like, I'm gonna take Lambda aside and then just say my name? I think... Okay, this is kind of ridiculous to think about, but like in a scenario that like, you know, what if Angie decided to announce her name to Battler and then decided to trap Battler forever in the meta world is honestly if Angie decided to go out publicly and say that my name is Ushiromiya Angie and became a forgery writer.
Okay, that's interesting.
Damn, yes. Yeah.
Wait,
Yes.
I thought you were gonna counter argument my what if? What? So you're not counter argumenting?
I wasn't I'm not countering arguing. I'm just saying like from a realistic standpoint, like that's what it would look like in a way. Like not like I mean she would just become like an Erica truth, like as in like not Erica truth, but like what I would imagine the kind of forgery Angie would write would be like Ushiromiya Eva like murdered all her family, but she is alive on the island and is helping her brother to like solve, and she would just write those stories over and over and over again. And that would be a Lambda. That would be her deciding that she wouldn't like that she will like go forward. I don't know. We're just talking about what ifs, like, but
that's a really interesting real world counterpart to my what if mushroom. That's so cool. So
yeah,
Angie, like the real world counterpart to Angie writing game boards for Butler in the meta world would be her just writing forgeries. Where, well, that's so cool. Wow, thank you, mushroom.
But like she wouldn't be writing forgeries because she wants to like understand the story. She would of course always write Eva as the villain, and you know, and she will just forever live in the like the conceptual idea of like maybe if I was on the island, I got to help Balder, and then we got to solve mystery together, or you know, died miserably together. But at least I will be on the island, you know, like that type of feeling.
Yeah, she'll never like move past it. She's like dwelling on it for like the rest of her life.
Yeah, you know, I don't know. Does that sound like a good theory to you? To basically,
it's not a theory. It's just like a
not a theory. Sorry, not like
interesting idea.
Yeah, like would that be a good like basically
yes
thing to add on to your like your idea?
Yes.
We're now just writing fanfics for Umineko.
Wow. Yes. My last thought is just because we see Angie in Kuwadorian in the end of the segment that we covered, right? As Lorenzo says, it's the same thing as EP3, just black and white. I guess we can take that to mean that eventually, besides taking Maria to Kuwadorian, as we've already established in previous episodes, one day Saya just thought, okay, let's take Angie as well. And so the three of them went to Kuwadorian.
Because she's a baby.
I actually think I think about that scene because I actually think of it instead of saying that like Sayo decided to take Angie to Kuwadorian, it's more like there's multiple points where basically Beatrice says like, you know, I never wanted Angie to join like this, so I imagine it's more like Maria was gonna go to Kuwadorian with Sayo, and then basically she begged Sayo to bring Angie with her, and she did, and then like, you know, like but then eventually like that scene like happened where like Angie cruelly denies like witches and like tells her that Sakutaro was just a toy all the time, and you know, I'm tired of playing this with you, you stupid sister, like why did you think that these are real? And then after that scene happens, it's just like Beatrice coming to like not Beatrice, Sayo coming to her and being like, see, you know, I told you we shouldn't have trust her. Like
so you're saying child Angie on that day told Maria that Sakutaro wasn't real? That's Oh,
Well,
damn.
not like on that day. I just mean like I imagine they went to Kuadorian. Like maybe she did take to go to Kuadorian a lot, but like event like that scene probably did happen in Kuadorian, and like basically she was just forever forbidden to be like you don't get to come to my secret hideout anymore. Like like that's probably just like how Maria like describes it. It's like, oh my god, my secret hideout on this like island.
Okay, wait. Actually, no, that can't happen because Angie doesn't know Sakura is fabricated. It's like mass produced until she goes.
Well, I don't think she thinks it's a mass produced. I think she just says your toy isn't real. Like your toy is not a real boy. That's what I'm saying.
Yep.
Okay,
Mhm.
okay.
I'm not saying that she's saying like, oh, your toy was mass produced this whole time, which would be so much.
Not this 3-year-old saying, no, that is a mass-produced product that your mother bought for you instead of hand making it.
Yeah, no, I think all she's saying is just like, I don't want to be playing with imaginary friends anymore. Like,
Mm-hmm. Yes.
No, she's like, yeah, this is the lion. Rawr, look at him go. He's like running around, and then her being 3, Angie being 3 is like, no, wrong.
Oh, on another random note that I also want to say, I think there is another reason why Beatrice or Sayo did not want to invite Angie to join Maria Associage, which she has multiply said, is probably because she despises Angie because she sees Angie as a thing that came to replace Battler. Because, like, like, Battler and...
Oh, in the meta world. Okay.
Yes, but, like, also in real world.
Ah, true! Oh my god,
like,
yes!
Okay, so, like, like, how, like, Battler and Angie actually never came to the island at the same time, ever.
Yeah.
Because Battler came until he was 12 years old, and then after he left, they brought Angie every time because now Angie is a part of the family.
Mm-hmm.
So
oh damn.
So like I think like when Angie was like 3 or like and Angie was like 5, like Sayo despised Angie and just saw her as like, oh, it's you that's here, that's not Battler, and then like probably also didn't want to let her join like Maria Associates.
That's so that's so interesting. God damn.
Which is something that is never touched on in Umineko, but you could be like deduced by like thinking about how Sayo is. Like I don't think she would at all want to like hang out with Angie, especially knowing that like this is the child that took away Battler from me.
Yeah. Fuck.
So yeah.
Really nice thought, Mushroom.
Thank you.
Thank you for putting that out.
Yes, very good.
Is there anything else?
Yeah, that's the end of my thoughts.
I think I dumped all my thoughts as well. Very good talk. It was very nice catching up with you guys. We had tons to talk about.
Yeah, it's always so nice recording book clubs.
Yeah.
Yeah, baby.
Yeah, baby.
We done it.
Hopefully we'll get to record more in less than a month time.
Well, yeah, we'll see. I think I like this 4-section pace of the Let's Plays. Like reading 4 sections of it was a lot more manageable than...
Isn't that what we always do?
No, sometimes we read way more than this.
Really?
Yeah, last time it was a lot.
Okay.
Well, the reason why I picked the 4 section is because the problem is that the scene after this is the scene where, like... the very big Rosa slaps Maria scene. So I didn't think it was apt for us to basically cram 2 really, really emotionally traumatizing scenes one after the other.
Yes.
So that's why I split it here specifically.
Ah, good call.
It's just like too much to talk about and it's emotionally draining. Like
yes.
I like literally it's like reading those 2 parts back to back is basically saying like, your tears are finally dry from crying about Angie, and then you get to watch Rosa brutally like abuse Maria, and then you start crying all over again.
And it shows you like 2 different sides of coping with like, harsh realities.
Yeah.
So very good contrast, very good stopping point. So
Okay.
nice idea. Great job. With that, thank you so much for sticking with us through the end. We will see you next time, hopefully sooner than later. See cats do crimes. Goodbye.
Bye.
See ya.
Get out of here. Fuck you all. Just kidding.